So we already learned about overhead expenses being the ongoing business expenses that are not directly attributable to creating a product or selling a service. So let's talk about a few common overhead expense accounts. Rent. So the cost that a business has for using its business premises. This will only be used if the business does not own the property and just leases or rents the space. If the business owns the property, it's common to see depreciation as a business expense because the business cannot get the direct benefit of the purchase. It must depreciate the cost over a period of time. Utilities, usually directly related to having business premises, but it also can include expenses such as internet service and phone service. Insurance. This is a very important overhead expense. Whether it's liability insurance, health insurance, renter's insurance, etc., make sure you have this line item on your profit and loss. Legal fees. It's very common based on the industry to have a lawyer on a small retainer for when you have legal questions or need a contract reviewed. Depending on your need, that might be too much for your business initially, but it's always a good idea to have a conversation with a lawyer every year or so to ensure that you're operating properly and legally. Accounting fees. Accountants are going to be a very important driver in the success of your business, whether it's to help with the books and records, or to help tax plan, or to prepare your tax returns, or all three. An ongoing relationship with an accountant, even if it's just to vent, is a necessity for all small businesses. Employee salaries. If you're not able to be at all places at all times, the employee will help lessen the burden on you. Employee payroll taxes. If you have employees that you're paying payroll, that means you're also paying half of their Social Security and Medicare taxes. So that's why you have a payroll tax line item on your profit and loss. Advertising and marketing. Whether it's social media ads, billboards, or sponsorships, most businesses need to keep putting money here in order to keep the customers coming. Dues and subscriptions. We used to try to get away from all subscriptions, but now everything is on subscriptions, right? This category can get really inflated quickly, so make sure to break out your subscriptions so you know who you're paying and how much. Office supplies. Pens, pencils, that cute little plant in your home office. This is a big catch-all for overhead expenses that don't belong anywhere else on the P&L. Meals and entertainment. If you take your client out for a nice meal, or you take your coworkers out as a thank you, that's a meals and entertainment expense, and the business is able to deduct 1/2 of the meal as a business expense on the tax return. Because, after all, you have to eat, regardless of whether or not you own a business. This doesn't nearly encompass all possible overhead expenses, but these are definitely the most common. The important thing to remember about overhead expenses is that they'll be very different for a lawyer with 1 employee or a retail store with 2 warehouses and 10 employees. It's also okay to split out expenses into a very detailed manner or to consolidate them together on your books. This is just a matter of personal preference. The most important part of knowing your overhead expenses is being able to ensure that they're manageable and within your control. And also, that you're able to easily identify which accounts are causing you trouble and that need to be corrected. Remember, even though cost of goods sold are thought of as being fixed related to the amount of sales, certain aspects of overhead expenses can be variable based on business activity and other factors, like staffing.